progress has been made and that he welcomes further ideas. And I'm saying, my question is very specific, that the progress that you have made, that you said you've made a lot of progress, identify one and share with us. Then you mount the witness, the dispatch box, and tell the House that you will suggest that the minority leader should file a question to demand the specific thing that you yourself you are sharing with us. So when you were telling the people of Ghana that you have made a lot of progress, you did not have a single success story in mind. You didn't have one. Now you want to get there and then determine admissibility of the question. Mr. Speaker, you had admitted the question. His job was to answer. If he doesn't have the facts readily available, the rules allow him to plead with the chair for him to be given leave, granted leave, to come back again. But you cannot mount the dispatch box when a question has been admitted. Then you say that you want me to file another question. I'm not asking something new. You said you made a lot of progress. You said you made a lot of progress. Tell us which single progress you have made.
Honorable members, let me place on record that question to a minister is not cross-examination. You are asking the question for a minister to bring facts to bear. And the very question on the floor is to ask the minister the progress made thus far towards the signing of a new carbon credit agreement between Ghana and British Petroleum. And then the answer of the minister regarding what has happened is captured in page 39 of the report. So where I sit, I even have a difficulty of the supplementary question.
Speaker, with respect. Speaker, with respect, we've always been talking about rules. Mr. Speaker, if you want to change your mind to say that the question that you've admitted, you want to change your mind, I will yield to you.
I am not changing my mind, with all due respect, minority leader. But the question asked has been answered, as in page 39. Which other progress are you asking of, apart from the progress that the minister has come to answer in page 39? That is what is bringing the ambiguity. But let me hear Honorable
Speaker. First of all, the minister never said what is being attributed to him by the minority. No, he never. It was the supplementary question from the minority chief whip that suggested that there has been a steady progress. That was the phrase. That was the phrase. He said a steady progress. You are saying a lot of progress. There are marked difference. He never said so. So it was a question that was put to him. He never said that there's been a lot of progress. It was the suggestion that was put to him. So if you are looking for specificity of that, the man is saying yes. But file a specific question, then I'll provide those details. Then you say you don't like the answer, and you are intimidating him. Why?
Mr. Speaker, with respect, the records must reflect that once a question is admitted, it is not for the minister concerned to raise an issue of admissibility. You know, I listen to you.
Quiet.
I listen to you.
Quiet.
You are becoming one intolerant majority chief whip. Yes. Mr. Speaker, I asked the question. And Mr. Speaker admitted the question. Then say it for the records.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I take offense. I take offense to the reference to me that I am intolerant. I am not. And the minority leader will have to withdraw and apologize to me.
See,
it's a tournament of ideas.
Minority leader.
There's no intolerance about this.
You are both in leadership. I always plead with leaders that let's be careful the language we use against each other. And whatever we say is in the record for generation. I believed you won't be happy if your colleague on his feet said you are intolerable.
Mr. Speaker, he used the same language. We all heard him.
I have not heard him.
No, but I'm telling you, I'm sitting right in front of me. You said it.
So, honorable minority leader,
Mr. Speaker, don't get in this. Mr. Speaker, don't get in this. He's my mate. Don't get, Mr. Speaker, stay away from this. It's between the two of us. You ignore him. He's laughing. He knows what he wants to achieve. He wants to introduce confusion. You sit down. You are not in leadership. Mr. Speaker, look at him. The roads, go to your ministry. The roads minister, go. The contractors are looking for you. You come here to cause trouble. You come here to cause trouble. Mr. Speaker, I know what he wants to achieve, but I will not pursue this. I want my chief whip to proceed with the second question. I will let him be until another time. Chief whip, continue. But this minister that we've got him today, we'll get him again. Mr. Speaker, we'll get him again. For your sake, Mr. Speaker, for your sake, I will let him be. For your sake, I will let him be. For chief whip to continue.
Honorable members, the word the majority chief whip is becoming intolerable is ordered to be expunged from the record. The chief whip had his turn and has exhausted his supplementary questions. So, no, he has exhausted his supplementary questions before even giving the floor to Honorable Buama at your back before he gets to your end. So, in the absence of any further question, we move to question number 702, also standing in the name of Honorable Frank Anodompre.
Thank you, Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister of State in charge of climate change and sustainability what the ministry is doing so far to facilitate the implementation of the terms of the following carbon credits agreement signed and the involvement of the private sector in the validation of carbon credit transfer. Ghana, Switzerland, Ghana, Sweden, Ghana, Singapore, Ghana, South Korea, Ghana, Liechtenstein. I thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, according to Section 2.7.1.3 of Ghana's Framework on Carbon Markets, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology and the Carbon Market Office are expected to work together with the Minister of State in charge of climate change and sustainability on related carbon markets. The status of development and implementation of the listed carbon markets agreement is as follows. Projects. The project covers electric vehicles, composting, rice cultivation, clean cooking, solar PVC, efficient ACs, and biogas. The agreement also issued and transferred the first and largest Paris Agreement carbon credit, ITMO, on the Ghana carbon registry in 2025. Mr. Speaker, the table below highlights the progress of implementation with some key milestones. In February 2020, Ghana and Switzerland signed the Article 6 Cooperation of MOU. November 2020, Ghana and Switzerland signed Article 6 component of the agreement. In July 2021, Ghana and Switzerland adopted a roadmap for implementing Article 6 Cooperation of the agreement. In August 2023, a technical implementation committee was established between the CMO and the Swiss Federation Office for Environment, that is Baffour. And in 2021, we developing 18 carbon market projects under the Switzerland-Ghana agreement. In 2021 to date, 2 carbon market projects are being developed under UNDP support. Both received authorization from Ghana and Switzerland, totaling 2.7 million tons of ITMO by 2030. Waste to compost projects also amounted to 1.5 million tons under implementation and monitoring. Alternative wet and dry projects totaling 1.2 million tons under implementation and monitoring. 16 carbon market projects are being developed under the Cliff Foundation. In February 2024, we established the CMO Click Working Group to track projects of development. In June 2025, the issuance of the first and largest ITMO in Africa and globally of 11,733 tons of Paris-aligned carbon credit was issued. In July 2025, the first ever transfer of the largest ITMO, 11,733, for a project on the transformative clean cooking stove initiative in rural Ghana. And in 2026, additional ITMOs are also being expected to be issued and transferred from cook stoves to compost and rice cultivation. Thank you. And just continue.
No, continue.
Okay, so now we go to Ghana, Sweden. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana-Sweden agreement is under implementation with 3 energy-related projects. 1 is under validation and 2 are still in development. The Ghana-Sweden has established a coordinating committee to receive and consider projects, application, and authorization requests. And the table below also highlights the progress of implementation with the key milestones. So we have the duration and the key milestone. In November 2021, Ghana and Sweden signed the Article 6 Cooperation MOU. In May 2024, Ghana and Sweden signed the Article 6 Cooperation MOU agreement. October 2024, we held a meeting. There was a meeting of Ghana-Sweden Coordinating Committee to oversee the implementation of the agreement. In July 2024, in August 2024, we commenced procurement of 2 carbon market projects for implementation in Ghana. In October 2024, the Swedish Energy Agency, SEA, visited Accra on a project sourcing mission and to participate in the coordinating committee meeting. In December 2024, the CMO held the first informal meeting with SEA to discuss the way forward for project implementation. In 2024, the Swedish Energy Agency, SEA, concluded the selection of 2 carbon markets in solar PV and electric cars for further development. In 2024 still, we will have the C&I solar photovoltaic and storage program also reached a validation stage. Mr. Speaker, in 2025, the project pipeline increased to 3, all of which are energy-related projects, and the current status include the Infrastructura Ghana Limited, which is under the validation stage, the TIF Power Company Limited, which is onboarding stage, Solar Taxi Company Limited, and South Pole, also at the procurement stage. Now, Ghana-Singapore. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana-Singapore agreement is under implementation with 39 projects at different stages of development. 4 of them have reached an authorization decision point. Also, a major joint committee has been established that receives and accesses projects for authorization. Mr. Speaker, the table below also highlights the progress of implementation with key milestones. November 2021, Ghana-Singapore held an initial contact meeting at COP26. February 2022, Ghana and Singapore exchanged letters of intent on Article 6 voluntary cooperation. In November 2022, Ghana-Singapore substantially concluded negotiations on the implementation agreement on cooperative approaches. In May 2024, the Ghana-Singapore Carbon Market Implementation Agreement was signed. In September 2024, Ghana-Singapore launched the first call for carbon market projects. And September 2024 to 2025, 3 committee meetings between Ghana and Singapore on the implementation of agreement to consider the project request. In January 2025 to date, this is the status to date includes 39 project ideas submitted to the ministry, including renewable energy, solar PV, biodiesel, clean cooking technology, e-vehicles, charging stations, afforestation, mangrove restoration, water treatment, and biocar. A joint committee has been established to review and issue 24 no objection approvals from both governments, of which 8 Stage A applications are yet to be reviewed at the technical working level. Projects include all relevant sectors: cook stove, waste to energy, water treatment, and so forth and so on. The projects are expected to provide access to clean water and improve the cooking experience in rural Ghana, while also attracting capital investment, generating carbon revenues for project owners, and government fees. Mr. Speaker, I go to Ghana, Korea. Ghana-Korea bilateral agreement is under legal review by the Attorney General before it goes to Cabinet for approval and parliamentary ratification. 5 projects are now being developed in anticipation of the Ghana-South Korea agreement. Mr. Speaker, let me be quick to mention that these answers came before the President went to South Korea, but I'll still give the table below. I'll still give details of the key milestones and duration. In December 2023, the technical negotiations concluded, and both countries have met the country participation requirement with minutes of negotiations adopted at COP28. In March 2024 to date, the Office of the Attorney General and the Ministry of Justice finalized the legal review of the draft agreement. In 2023 to date, the pipelines applications are 5 in total, of which 3 are cook stove projects, of which one is water treatment and the other one is also waste to energy project. Ghana Licensia. The Ghana Licensia agreement is still being negotiated between the two countries. The table below highlights the progress of implementation with key milestones. December 2023 discussion to have a corporate bilateral agreement. In 2024 agreements at COP30 to initiate tax negotiations. December 2024 discussions on general technical negotiations of tax. Mr. Speaker, I'll go to the last part of the question. With respect to the involvement of the private sector in the validation of carbon credit, pursuant to Section 9 of the Ghana Carbon Market Framework, the Carbon Market Office engages internationally accredited independent validation bodies to assess projects, design documents, and mitigation activity designed to be submitted for authorization. Mr. Speaker, the CMO has onboarded 24 validation bodies, of which approximately 14 have actively participated in validation assignments. As part of the onboarding process, validators must establish accreditation criteria, including compliance with the Ghana Carbon Registry onboarding process, and submission of terms of reference and the appointment of a local expert. The designated local expert must actively participate in the validation activities to ensure that stakeholders' engagement and adherence to local content requirement and capacity development. Mr. Speaker, the CMO office evaluates the performance of independent bodies through an annual performance and conformance assessment of those onboarded onto the GCR using defined key performance indicators. Based on the assessment results, the CMO may add new or remove underperforming validators from the database. This performance oversight strengthens credibility, accountability, and integrity within Ghana's carbon market system. In addition, the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts database, which will be published on its website. Recognized designated operational entities are required to appoint a qualified local expert from the roster to participate in validation assignments. With the technical support from the gold standard, Ghana has trained 24 experts in validation process, and these experts have been formally onboarded onto the roster of experts to strengthen the national capacity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minority Chief Whip. Any supplementary question?
Yes, indeed, Speaker. Speaker, from the outset, let me commend the Minister for a detailed response. But that is not enough. It's not enough. Now, Minister, Mr. Speaker, he's given six tabular response, which encapsulate the high points of what has been achieved in terms of all the carbon agreements we've entered into, 6 of them. Now, if you take time and go through the tables, 2020, 2020, 2021, 2023, 2021, 2024, 2024, 2024, 2024, and so on and so forth. My question is, more than 90% of the achievement occurred between 2020 all the way to 2024. It appears to me that after 2024, little has happened. And I want to find out from you what is giving rise to this challenge and how do you deal with this challenge?
In 2024?
After 2024.
Very well.
Yeah.
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know where the honorable member is reading from, but if you look at what I've done, I've captured up to 2024, 2025, and you see that if you look at, for instance, look at Ghana, Singapore. Ghana, Singapore, I said September 2024 to 2025, 3 joint committee meetings between Ghana and Singapore on the implementation agreement was considered. I also said in January 2025 to date, which is ongoing, which means that work is being done. So I'm sure if you run through the others, you will also see that each of them will have activity for 2025 to date. So work is ongoing on all these projects. Thank you.
Yes, any further questions?
Well, Minister, we will leave this for another day because when I go into it, I don't want to do that banter with you. So if you are claiming 2025, you have achieved something, that's fine. It's fine. So you got my second follow-up. Reference after the second table, that is 2021 up-to-date carbon market project, February 2024, June 2025, that table where carbon market projects are being developed under UNDP support, carbon market projects are being developed under the Clegg Foundation, alternative wet and dry project, 1 million tons, and so on and so forth. My question is, this appears technical response. I mean, any layman who picks this may not be able to appreciate. How does this translate in terms of its benefits to this country?
Yes.
Very clear with his question. If he can come again.
Speaker, with respect, this is my second follow-up, so I still have one more follow-up. So he's asking for a repeat or an elucidation of this question. So it has nothing to do with my third follow-up. So I'm saying, let me read to you. Carbon market projects are being developed under the UNDP support. Both receive authorization from Ghana and Switzerland, totaling 2.7 million tons of ITMOs by 2030. First one. Waste to compost project, 1.5 million tons under implementation, under monitoring. Alternative wet and dry project, 1.2 million tons. Carbon market projects are being developed under the Clegg Foundation. Established CMO Clegg working group to attract project development. First ever transfer of the largest ITMOs of some 11,733 for project on the transformative clean cook stove initiative in rural Ghana, and so on and so forth. I'm saying, how does this translate in practical terms into the benefit of our country?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Ghana has signed on to some international protocols. The Paris Agreement gave birth to the nationally determined contributions. And all these things are expected to feed into these agreements that we have signed. And the ultimate aim is to achieve the 1.5 degrees Celsius of that we all countries sign on to. So these projects are supposed to inure to the benefits of Ghanaians and specifically to ensure sustainability in the work that we do. We all agree that these activities, these projects that we do, the development that we're embarking on, are supposed to be done in a very safe way so that future generations do not suffer out of these things that we are doing. So there are protocols that we have signed on to, and these are some of the benefits that we intend to derive from. Thank you.
Any further question?
Yes, indeed, Speaker. Minister, come with me to your answer on Ghana-Singapore. And you are saying that the Ghana-Singapore agreement is under implementation with 39 projects at different stages of development. 4 of them have reached an authorization decision point. You've already mentioned 39, and then you said 4. 4 out of the 39 has reached authorization point. What it means effectively is that 35 of them are outstanding. My question is, what are you going to do to facilitate the implementation of the outstanding 35 out of the 39?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I've already said that we have established a joint committee that is responsible for receiving these proposals and also assessing progress made on these projects. So, Mr. Speaker, we only have to collaborate well with the Joint Working Committee that has oversight responsibility over these projects. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Kinsley Nyako.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to follow up from the Minister. If you look at page 44, the penultimate paragraph, he has indicated that the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts and that the publication will be on their website. I want to find out from you if it has been done or when is the publication going to be on the website. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Shall I repeat it or you got me?
I didn't get his question. If you can come again.
Very well.
My question is that on page 44, the penultimate, the last but one paragraph, you've indicated that the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts database, which is going to be published. And I'm asking if it has been published already, or my question is the database published already, or when is it going to be published? Thank you.
Yes.
It's clear.
Honorable
The question is, okay,
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, for the last time, my question is simple. On page 44, if you could turn to page 44 of your answer, the last but one paragraph, you've indicated that the EPA CMO has established a roster of experts database, which will be published on its website. And I'm asking, has the publication been done, or do you have an idea when it's going to be done? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have the timing, but I'm told that they will publish it on their website. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, yeah, I get that indication, but will you be kind to find out from us when it's going to be done?
That is what he said. He doesn't have the information.
So he'll find out and come back to us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm okay.
Yes.
Honourable Minister, it's been suggested to you that since about 2024, or after 2024, very little has been done. Now, can you confirm to this House that, for instance, under the Ghana-Switzerland agreement, activities such as the issuance of 11,733 tons of Paris-aligned carbon credits have been issued, just under Ghana-Switzerland alone, and that in the same 2025, there's been a first ever transfer of the largest ITMOs of 11,733 for project on transformative claim in cook stoves, compost, and rice cultivation, just under the Ghana and Switzerland alone in 2025 forward. Then again, under Ghana, Sweden, from 2025, the following projects have been undertaken. Then the projects include the pipeline, 3 pipelines which have been energy related and instituted as follows. Infra Futura Ghana Limited as the validation stage. TFI Power Company Limited, that's on the boarding stage. And then Solar Taxi Company Limited at the South Pole, also at the procurement stage. That is, these projects have been undertaken in 2025 under the Ghana-Sweden agreement alone. And then finally, under Ghana-Singapore, as many as 8 activities differently undertaken under your guide in 2025. If you can confirm this for the House.
Minister, the question is for you to confirm.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I confirm that all this that I've stated happened between the period of 2025 to date, and it is ongoing. Thank you.
Honourable members, on your behalf, I thank the Minister sincerely for attending upon the House to respond to all the questions scheduled for him. Honourable Minister, accordingly, you are hereby discharged. Once again, thank you for coming. Honourable members, we have exhausted the questions listed for today. Therefore, question time is ended. Any indication? Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, may we move to item number 7 and take a couple of statements advertised there.
Yes.
Speaker, Speaker, save that on Tuesday or Monday, we had the opportunity of discussing taking the motion on the gold for reserves and to also continue the debate on the revocation of employment. Speaker, my understanding is that if we are able to finish the statements, then we can take the motions. And just because I actually did that with you. So don't come and sit here and act like you don't know. Together in the presence of Speaker
I'm also a
the right
deputy
Speaker.
Speaker. I work sometimes on instructions. So what you should do in that regard, you know.
Pardon me,
as a deputy speaker, I sometimes work on instructions. So
yes, we actually did that in the presence.
So we all have to do the needful.
Speaker, what's the needful?
Probably
I'm
you don't understand my language. You can see me for guidance.
Very well.
Honorable members, item number 7, statement. Should we go by this order? And
Speaker,
the rules applies if you are not
Speaker,
here to make your statement.
May I pray that we start with item number 7B. 7B.
Start with item number 7E. Honourable members, before doing so, let me also acknowledge students from Vandara Basic School, led by Kwame Amponsa, a teacher. They are from Subin constituency and they numbered 100. We have MA Basic School at Ahwiniasi, led by Mariam Sina, leader. They are from Ebuakwa South. They numbered 68. Then we have Bako DA Basic School, led by Emmanuel Akapo, a teacher. They are from Asikuma, Odoben, Brakwa. They numbered 69. And finally, we have Nursing and Midwifery Training College, led by Ahyati Justice Junior, the president, and they are from Keta constituency, and they numbered 46. On your behalf, I welcome them to Parliament of Ghana, urge them to have a fruitful visit. Can they resume your seat? Our members' statement numbered 7E, standing in the name of Honorable Sebastian Fred Day, Member of Parliament for Bando. About E. It's 7B.
Okay.
Very well. Rather standing in the name of Dr. Thomas Winsum Anaba, Member of Parliament for Garu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make a statement. Yeah, distributed them.
Yes, Honorable Jerry Shaib.
To make a statement.
Honorable, hold it. Yes.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I was hoping that, yes, I'm trying to retrieve same, and I don't know if my colleagues have copies. If you just want, well, if you want us to deal with the one on the console, that's.
Are you satisfied?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm okay, thank you.
Doc, please proceed to deliver your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make a statement on closing the physician gap in Ghana, global perspectives and strategic options. Mr. Speaker, I am grateful for the opportunity to address this House on a matter of urgent national importance, the shortage of health professionals, particularly doctors. Across Ghana, and many health centers and district hospitals remain critically understaffed. While infrastructure and equipment are vital to functional health systems, the absence of adequate skilled personnel continues to undermine access to quality health care. This workforce gap is not merely a structural concern, but a direct threat to equitable and effective healthcare delivery in every constituency of our dear nation. Mr. Speaker, nurses who form the backbone of our health system are still not enough to meet demand. Each year, we train thousands, yet many remain unemployed because of fiscal constraints, while others leave the country in search of better conditions. Meanwhile, in underserved areas, a few exhausted health staff struggle to keep facilities running. Mr. Speaker, the situation is even more serious when it comes to medical doctors. Ghana's physician population gap, that is physician to population ratio, currently stands at 2.6 doctors to 10,000 people. The World Health Organization recommends at least 10 doctors per 10,000 people, meaning that 1 doctor to 1,000 people. The global average is 17.2 to 10,000 people. This clearly shows how far we must go. Mr. Speaker, according to the Ghana Medical and Dental Council, we have almost 12,000 registered medical doctors. To meet the WHO benchmark for a population of 32 million and approximate, Ghana would need roughly 32,000 doctors. That leaves us with a deficit of 19,000 physicians in this country. Mr. Speaker, even if we continue to train about 900 doctors or 1,000 doctors each year and assume we retain all of them, it would take Ghana closely 20 years to close this gap. About 35% of all the locally trained doctors migrate annually, seeking better remunerations, working conditions, and professional growth. We are therefore losing a significant portion of the very workforce we invest in training. Mr. Speaker, the imbalance between the urban and the rural areas worsens with this crisis. Some urban facilities have relatively adequate staffing, but many rural districts, including Garu, operates with only 1 or 2 doctors serving a population of over 40,000 people. This is not simply inconvenient, it places lives at risk for the people themselves and for the 2 doctors or 1 doctor who works there. Mr. Speaker, we must also consider the well-being of the current workforce. The 2024 performance report of the Medical and Dental Council indicates that 9% of doctors cited for performance misconduct cases were found to be dealing with severe depression. This suggests that beyond the numbers, there is strain on morale and mental health within the profession. Mr. Speaker, this challenge is serious, but it is not unique to Ghana. Other countries have faced similar shortages and taken bold steps to respond. There are useful lessons that we can adopt. Mr. Speaker, some countries have reformed their licensing and examination systems. In Canada, the Medical Council simplified the licensing process for international medical graduates by eliminating one of its qualification exams. Australia has exempted doctors in certain comparable systems from additional clinical exams. Israel has introduced exam waivers for experienced foreign trained doctors, provided they undergo structural clinical integration. These reforms have reduced unnecessary barriers whilst maintaining standards. Ghana can review its own licensure and credentialing recognition frameworks. We should make it easier for Ghanaian doctors abroad to retain and practice, and for qualified trained doctors to contribute without compromising patient safety. Singapore recently expanded its list of recognized foreign medical degree programs from 112 to 120 institutions to help address doctor shortage and meet growing health demands. Ghana could consider a similar policy to ease our physician gap whilst we continue to strengthen local training capacity. Mr. Speaker, secondly, countries such as Canada, Australia have developed practical ready assessment programs. These allow experienced doctors to undergo supervised clinical practice leading to full licensure. Instead of repeating long training pathways, they are assessed in real practical settings. Israel has similarly replaced lengthy internship requirements for some foreign trained doctors with structured integration schemes. Today, international medical graduates make up to a significant share of their physician workforce. Ghana can explore similar supervised fast-track pathways to get doctors come to Ghana. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, several countries align immigration policies with health workforce needs. They provide expedited visa processing, relocation support, and incentive for doctors who agree to work in underserved areas. We can design targets, recruitment strategies, and prioritize deprived districts. Mr. Speaker, Malaysia addressed its health workforce shortages by reforming medical education, shifting from outcome-based, competitive-based medical education. The country emphasizes clinical competence and introduced flexible postgraduate pathways whilst upholding national standards, thereby expanding training capacities without compromising quality. Mr. Speaker, based on these lessons, I propose a multi-pronged national strategy, adopting competent-based medical education in all medical training institutions, introduce flexible parallel postgraduate training pathways to expand specialist training, reform licensure and credentialing recognition to attract foreign trained Ghanaian doctors and qualified international medical graduates, and 4, align immigration and health policies to recruit doctors for underserved areas. 5, invest in the faculty development and infrastructure and regulate capacity to retain qualified doctors. Mr. Speaker, at the same time, we must improve working conditions, ensure fair, timely compensation, provide rural incentive, and strengthen mental support for health professionals who work in Ghana. Expand the number without adding welfare will not solve the problem. Mr. Speaker, achieving universal health coverage by 2030 depends on the strength of our human resource for health. No health system can function without the adequate number of motivated and well-trained doctors and nurses. Let us all, therefore, approach this issue with the urgency it deserves. The people of Garu, Gomoa, Gamashe, and every community in Ghana deserve accessible and quality health care so that we can achieve the 2030 universal health coverage as we all seek to. To this, Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to read this statement.
Honourable members, that is the statement ably made. I'll give the floor to Honourable Abojinapo.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the very important and insightful statement made by my honourable friend, Dr. Thomas Windsor Manaba, the MP for Garu. Mr. Speaker, I think the maker of the statement ought to be commended for tabling such an important matter on the floor of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, the maker of the statement underscores the importance of healthcare. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, the common statement is that a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. And across the world, as the maker of the statement pointed out, and he referred to Malaysia and other parts of the world where they have been very successful at constructing a robust public health system which supports their population and which makes their population productive and effective. Mr. Speaker, some of the recommendations the maker of the statement made are most welcomed and are to be worked on. Mr. Speaker, there are one or two other contributions I believe will further enrich the recommendations the maker of the statement is put forward, and he talks about physicians and went into great detail in dissecting the sector into the segments of medical doctors, nurses, the shortfall we have, the numbers we need, the measures we ought to put in place to attract them, to retain them, and to avoid a situation where our healthcare professionals are posted to the right places of our country for them to be able to meet the healthcare needs of our compatriots. Mr. Speaker, take for example the nursing field. Today, as we speak, Mr. Speaker, the statistics tells us that by October 2025, there were 13,500 nurses who have not been posted. 13,500 nurses who have not been posted. They've been trained. The country has spent money on training them. They are equipped. They are ready and willing to work. And yet, they've not been posted as at October 2025. The Speaker, as we speak, we do not have budgetary provision for recruiting these health care workers, Mr. Speaker, who are, as I say, are willing. West Regional Director of the Ghana Health Service had cause to indicate that as of December 2025, 80% of doctors who were posted to Upper West region of our country did not report to duty. Mr. Speaker, that is a major cause for concern. And indeed, Mr. Speaker, this is not peculiar to Upper West region. In my own home region or Savannah region, we have similar situations where doctors are posted and they do not report to duty. We need to interrogate the reasons for this, and indeed, it certainly will be a question of conditions of service and the nature of the environment they are posted to. All of these will have to be looked at. Mr. Speaker, again, today as we speak, nurses in the public service of our country, nurses who have been recruited, have not been paid salary for 14 months. If we are going to build a robust public health system for our country, these are matters we have to prioritize, where when nurses are recruited, they are paid. Not only do we have 13,500 nurses who have been trained, equipped, ready, and willing to work, not being recruited, but even those who have been recruited, 14,000 of them, a good number of them are working as we speak, and yet for 14 months they've been working and they've not been paid. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Let me conclude by saying that, look, there is really, Mr. Speaker, a part of the national public health system of our country, which I believe the authorities ought to pay attention to. Mr. Speaker, and by that I refer to Agenda 111. And Agenda 111 is arguably the most revolutionary, the most audacious, the most expansive, and the most transformative intervention in the public health system of our country since independence. Mr. Speaker, what is Agenda 111? Mr. Speaker, I didn't know we were being timed, so...
Well, but the rules has been in existence for long that comment on a statement should not exceed 5 minutes. So, no, with all due respect, I beg you. We've since been going in accordance with the time. I'll give the floor to Honorable Dr. Nawani.
Seconds to conclude.
Honorable Dr. Nawani, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Before I give my submission, I want to correct one fact. The previous speaker said that 13,500 nurses are unemployed. I think that is factually wrong. 13,500 nurses were employed before the NDC came to power, and they were not paid. As we speak now, they have been kept on pay. They are being paid now as we speak. So that is not correct. Yes, the 13,500. There are those who have been paid. Right, Honourable Speaker, the issue of inadequate doctors or lack of enough doctors is something that, as a nation, we need to take radical steps to see to what extent we can correct it. As we speak now, on the Medical and Dental Council register, we have about 13,000 doctors. But from the statement, you realize that we need about 32,000 doctors. That is about almost getting to 300% of that number. And apart from that, even comes what we call the distribution. Distribution is skewed towards the big towns, Accra and Kumasi, just taking about 70% of those few doctors. The remaining doctors are now supposed to go to the smaller towns. And so we have a situation where the doctor to patient ratio in Accra here is about 1 to 1,200. But when you take OT region, for example, the ratio stands at 1 to 22,000. That is not good for a nation such as Ghana. Now, what can we do about it? And even as we speak, we have doctors who have not been employed. But what can we do about it? Currently, we need to increase the production of doctors. There are so many medical faculties. There are so many medical faculties that are springing up. And the problem is payment. So what I recommend to the government is that instead of sponsoring people outside to go and do medicine, they should invest that amount of money to give scholarships to students to study those courses in Ghana here. A case is that of Entrance University. Entrance University has started a medical degree course, but the number that they admitted is just between 10-20 students, and that is too small. If the government can give scholarship to very brilliant students to choose these schools and allow more medical schools to be open, we can do it. It's something that we can do. It will increase the number of doctors. Right, Honourable Speaker, the other problem is that as a nation, we should look at the complementary efforts of the private sector. As we speak now, there are a lot of job opportunities in the private sector. There are about 3,000 private hospitals in the country, which can employ more people. But we are, to some extent, leaving them aside. This unemployment we are talking about, if we look at the situation very, very well, if they could go to
Your time is up. Yes, Honourable Tampuli, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to contribute to the statement that has been ably made by Honourable Dr. Thomas Anaba or Anaba. Mr. Speaker, the statement was very well delivered and absolutely very well researched. If I look at the references, it tells you that he did quite a good research. Mr. Speaker,
This situation that we are complaining about is not today's problem. It's been with us for God knows how long. Mr. Speaker, this matter, I believe, if we come back next year, God willing, we shall be talking about it again, and we shall be doing so for the next 10 years. Mr. Speaker, we should be talking about solutions at this stage and not rehashing the problems that all of us know. Mr. Speaker, the issue about the number of medical professionals who have not been hired and are still waiting at home to be employed is even way more than 50,000. Yeah, it's more than 50,000 nurses, other professionals. We're not talking about only nurses. We're talking about other medical professionals. And it's way above 50,000. Some of them are sitting at home looking for opportunity to serve their nation, to serve us. Mr. Speaker, and that's where the point about Agenda 111 comes to bear. One of the most revolutionary initiatives ever since independence is the Agenda 111 initiative. Mr. Speaker, never has there been any audacious move to do. In fact, it's even Agenda 112. Because at the time that we were doing Agenda 111, we hadn't even considered Karaga. In due course, Karaga was added, so it became 112. But Mr. Speaker, sadly, you move around the sites of these Agenda 111 facilities, and you find that some of them are already in reels. 60%, 70%, 40% at different stages of completion. Mr. Speaker, they have been abandoned. How do we expand, healthcare facility, and then we abandon some of these construction sites? Mr. Speaker, one of the most difficult situations for the health sector is clearance. Clearance from the Ministry of Finance. And Mr. Speaker, that's the elephant in the room. And we must say it loud. The Minister for Finance has to give them clearance for them to be able to recruit. Mr. Speaker, so we need to find ways to deal with this situation. And the solution is not far from us. The solution is right in front of us. We can use the 133 formula, isn't it? You understand? 24-hour economy formula. The nurses are at home, other health professionals are at home. Some will come for 6 hours, others will come for another 6 hours, and then we will be giving meaning to 24-hour economy. So, Mr. Speaker, here, let's bring to bear 133. The youth of Ghana need work. They are prepared, they are schooled, and they need work. Let's give them the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let's not come here next year and come and lament and lament and lament. The solution is there. Expand health infrastructure and then give financial clearance by the Minister for Finance, and all these people will be working. And we won't come back and be talking about the same situation. Mr. Speaker, I thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Rashid Pelpo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the maker of the statement for this very thoughtful statement he has made, because health is a critical issue and affects everybody. And where health facilities exist and the practitioners are not available, especially nurses and doctors, it's a serious concern that we will all have to express. And I do admit that this is a long-lasting issue. It's not just something we wake up to meet. It's been there for a while. And there must be a national commitment to solve the problem, a policy direction from government to government that should tackle the issue, provide the needed response to the need for doctors, the engagement of doctors, need for nurses, engagement of doctors, and to the effect that we have a total approach to our health needs. Mr. Speaker, the challenge which was also mentioned by Honorable Member from Damango, Honorable Abu Jinapo, is that you have the challenge of nurses not being employed, doctors not being employed adequately, but you also have the challenge of those who are employed and refuse to work. And I've always cited the example that years ago, the colonial masters traveled all the way from the UK to Ghana. They were posted to places as far as to Tumu and beyond, to everywhere else in Ghana. They traveled there and they worked. Today, they post you to Wa. 17 nurses were posted there last year. They refused to go. And you don't want to go. Meanwhile, there's a Hippocratic oath which you have admitted before you were pronounced a doctor to abide by and to make manifest in your life as a professional. So, Mr. Speaker, whilst we are urging that this policy be attended to, listen to the Speaker talking about the need for, the reason being that there is no physical policy approach does not support engagement of everybody we have employed. I do admit to that. But it's important also for those who are available to take a decision and go and work wherever they are posted. A place like Wa, if you refuse to go there, it's a surprising thing. You have 3 universities there, you have very good secondary schools there, you have excellent basic schools there, there's life there is good, food is cheap, and then you refuse to go. What explanations can you give to the people of Ghana? Mr. Speaker, but I've heard a lot of talk about Agenda 111, and I listened to Honorable Tampuli when he repeated the Agenda 111 Honorable Member of Damango was going to make. Mr. Speaker, it has to be understood very clearly. The issue is not about the number of health posts in Ghana. In fact, we have built several of them all over the country. In fact, that's the reason why the people are there, and and we are urging that they should be employed. We have lots of community health centers all throughout the country built by the NDC. We didn't even mention the concepts, the CHIP compounds. They are all over. The issue is not about availability that we are talking about or that they are talking about. The issue is about the availability of the doctors and our commitment to pay them and get them employed. And we are saying that within the period we are in, we have demonstrated we can do that. There was a leftover about 12,000 workers who were not paid, though employed. As soon as we came, we started paying them. So I was surprised when Honorable Jinapor said they are not being paid. There's an approval of the payment by the finance minister, and then along the line, payments are being made. Mr. Speaker, I also think that this issue must not be a political issue. We need to commit ourselves to it. And I believe that this statement will be an awakening call for us to have proper attention to it and deal with it comprehensively. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, leadership. Honourable members, we have 9 statements to take.
Yes.
And the practice that we have adopted is that when we take 2-2, then we come to leadership. We have 9 statements per the order paper.
Speaker, I was respectfully going to seek your permission just to indulge us, to take just one. Speaker, you can see that this statement is of a very important...
is that the sense of the House?
Yes, you won't allow it. No, I want to talk.
No, honour members, let's bear. We have, every day we come and we talk about backlog
Speaker,
of statements.
Speaker,
we complain about backlog of statements. And then, so what is the sense of the House?
Speaker, that is okay. At least it is clear. Speaker, it's clear.
So are you yielding?
Speaker, it's clear my colleague did not yield. It's okay. So
are you yielding
to my friend at the back?
Minority leadership is yielding to you. Your time starts now.
Mr. Speaker, I commend the maker of the statement. Mr. Speaker, historically, our problem as a nation was brain drain in the health sector. Today, we are not complaining of brain drain. We are rather complaining of not being able to hire more doctors, more physicians, more nurses, Mr. Speaker, more healthcare professionals. Mr. Speaker, the question is why? Mr. Speaker, at this point, we may want to take a historical journey as to how governments have solved some of the problems we have faced in our health sector. Mr. Speaker, not long ago I stated that historically our problem was brain drain. When President Baffour took office in the year 2001, these are some of the interventions he introduced to solve some of the problems we had in the sector. That is the brain drain in the health sector. He introduced extra duty allowance to help our doctors earn more money. He gave them concessions in respect of import duty at the port. He also introduced the National Health Insurance Scheme, Mr. Speaker, to help respectfully generate more revenue in the sector to take care of expenditure in the sector, with the ripple effect of having more money in the pockets of our health sector professionals to curb brain drain. Mr. Speaker, today we have been given a mandate of 180-something members of parliament. About 57% of Ghanaians voted for you to make very bold decisions. If there is a problem, this is not the time for lamentation, it's the time for solutions. So fix it. Fix the problems and not come here and lament. The statements are riddled with lamentations. Mr. Speaker, you inherited Agenda 111. Continue with it. It was a brilliant initiative by the Nanado administration, Nanado Dankwa Dr. Bawumia administration. The implementation was with the taxpayers' money. Let's give value and meaning to the taxpayers' money. Fix it so that our physicians will have a place to work. Fix it. Mr. Speaker, in this year's budget, an amount of 100 million cedis was allocated to the Agenda 111 program. Whilst you allocated 200 million cedis for sanitary pad, the problem is a matter of your policy choices. It is not a country that is helpless. It is a problem of wrong priorities of the NDC government. You can fix it with your budget instead of reading statements on the floor of parliament and lamenting. The book of lamentations have already been written. The Bible does not expect the addition of any book of lamentation by the NDC government. If there's a problem, fix it. Let your choices show your commitment to fix the problems we have. Instead of reading lamentations on the floor of parliament, fix it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, majority. Yes, you are yielding to Dr. Yes, Sandari, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I thank the maker of the statement on this very important national issue of how we have equitable distribution of our health workers, nurses, and doctors and other health workers. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the issues that we need to discuss without being too much partisan. It is an issue that, as a house, we have to come together and find solutions. The problems of health workers is not something that is starting today. It has been there over the years. I remember when I started as a medical officer, the issue of doctors not accepting posting, not motivated, was there. So it has been with us as an issue, and therefore we must come together to discuss the solutions. Mr. Speaker, in this country, the issue is not about trainings, it's not about postings, it's about, just like the maker of this statement said, ensuring equitable distribution of our doctors, nurses, and other health workers. Mr. Speaker, one of the contributors made an evidence of where in Accra the doctor to population ratio is about 1:1,000. And you get to a region like OT or my region, I have a doctor to patient ratio being 1:22,000. So the question we ask is why? Why is it that doctors will want to remain in Accra and would not want to go to OT or go to the Upper West region or any other rural region? It has to do with motivation. Because the doctors who work in the cities make extra income, they have other opportunities. So what we need to do and discuss is ensure we put incentives in place so that the doctor posted to the Upper West region or posted to OT would have equal opportunities or fair opportunities like the one working in Accra. The doctors that were posted to Upper West, Upper East, who refused to go, it is because they look at it and they don't have motivational packages over there. Same applies to the nurses and other health workers. Sometimes, even before they are posted, they are already working in private health facilities. So if a doctor already after completing is working in a private facility in Accra and you post him to Upper West or Upper East, he compares working in that private facility and going to the rural area, what is in there for me? So we have to look at the distribution, the motivation, and also addressing the environmental factors. I mean, where the doctor or nurse is posted, do they have the needed equipment? Is the facility enabling so that this doctor or nurse can stay and work? And that is where all of us have responsibilities. As a member of parliament, you can look at what can I do on my individual capacity to ensure that a doctor or a nurse is comfortable, in your district. Mr. Speaker, to conclude, the issue is not about Agenda 111. So we should not introduce any Agenda 111 in this national issue. It is not about the health facilities. I'm saying that the issue is not about the number of hospitals that are in the country. It is about the fact that the facilities even exist, but the people are not accepting posting to these areas. And you brought your Agenda 111, a populist issue that created problems for you. So anything we want to discuss here, even if it has nothing to do with Agenda 111, you go and bring Agenda 111. Mr. Speaker, government is taking enabling measures to ensure that our health workers accept postings to these rural areas. By that I mean, government is retooling.
Member, your time is up. That brings us to the end of that statement. We'll move to statement number C, standing in the name of Honorable Charles Asiedu, Member of Parliament for Tano South. Honorable Charles Asiedu, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, it is with a good sense of duty that I rise to deliver this statement on a matter of utmost national importance. My statement is on the urgent need to revitalize the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company. The company is a state-owned enterprise that plays a central role in the area of liquefied petroleum gas promotion. Its core mandate is to produce and distribute safe, affordable LPG cylinders, cookwares, and related accessories for domestic consumption and exports. Mr. Speaker, let us note that promoting the use of LPG is a key component of Ghana's strategy for environmental protection, sustainable energy use, and climate change mitigation. The adoption of LPG reduces reliance on firewood, charcoal in order to preserve our forest reserves, which improves indoor air quality and reduces greenhouse gas emission. According to the 2023 industry report of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, LPG forms the primary cooking fuel for about 40% of Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, the country has also set an ambitious target to achieve 50% of LPG penetration by 2030. Globally, the drift towards clean cooking solutions is accelerating. The Clean Cooking Alliance knows that while only 60% of the world's population had access to clean cooking in 2010, this figure had improved to nearly 75% by 2024. However, over 2 billion people still cook with smoky and inefficient fuels and stoves. Ghana cannot afford to fall behind in this global shift. Mr. Speaker, in rural Ghana, LPG usage only formed 70% of total fuel usage by 2023. Despite the strategic relevance of the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company to lead the way in LPG promotion, it has struggled to fulfill its potential. The Auditor General's report revealed that the company posted a loss of 4 million Ghana cedis in 2021. And then in 2023, the company was acquired by the Ghana Gas Company Limited in a bid to rescue it from operational collapse. Mr. Speaker, even though this acquisition signals a step in the right direction, there is an urgent need for a broader and more coordinated national recovery plan. In this regard, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition had announced earlier last year the establishment of a joint project implementation committee to oversee a revitalization plan. This is welcome, Mr. Speaker, but further measures must be considered. I propose the following as an additional pathway for the company's recovery. The state must inject targeted capital to upgrade the company's production line, introduce modern fabrication technologies, and improve quality control processes. Again, Mr. Speaker, we must engage private investors and LPG marketing companies in joint ventures to expand market access. Government and public institutions should be encouraged to source their LPG products and accessories from the company as a matter of policy. Mr. Speaker, the company should be supported under the African Continental Free Trade Area to enter neighboring markets by leveraging the regional demand for clean cooking solutions. Again, the public needs to be constantly sensitized about the health, economic, and environmental benefit of LPG usage. Mr. Speaker, let us remember that a stronger demand will sustain the operations of the company. And finally, Mr. Speaker, let us strengthen performance-based accountability mechanism within all state-owned enterprises, including the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company, to ensure transparency and accountability. And to conclude, Mr. Speaker, the call to revitalize the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company is not only about rescuing an ailing company. It is also about fortifying Ghana's clean energy transition by reducing carbon footprints and improving public health. Mr. Speaker, the Clean Cooking Alliance has estimated that the universal access to clean cooking could reduce global carbon emission by 1.5 gigaton by 2030. Mr. Speaker, this is equivalent to the emissions from all the planes that flies in our skies and all the ships that sail on our ocean every year. This is an important opportunity for Ghana to lead by example in West Africa. A revitalized Ghana cylinder manufacturing company, Mr. Speaker, will empower local industry, create jobs, expand LPG access, and support Ghana's climate goals. I therefore call on this House to support the revitalization efforts with the urgency and seriousness they deserve. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Members, that's the statement ably made. It's now time to take comments.
Minister wants to see the state.
Is anybody going to comment from my left side? Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by my colleague, Agyei, Member of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, it's a very timely call for us as members of Parliament because of the need to improve on our usage of LPG in our homes. As the statistics show, a lot of homes in Ghana are not using LPG gas. Though in the urban areas, predominantly within the Greater Accra, Ashanti, Western, amongst others, you have high usage of LPG gas. The total population of Ghana who uses LPG is quite on the low. And that means that a lot of people are using fossil fuels, that is charcoal, amongst others, which is not good for our environment. And so how do we equip and resource Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company to be able to perform that role and function? As indicated, over the past years, the company has not been doing well in terms of their books because government has not released adequate funding to support their corporate objectives and goals. And so my clarion call to government is that this is an important state asset. As we try to leverage Ghana gas to absorb them and then support them, Ghana gas itself has been suffering. Ghana gas has not gotten its own statutory mandate. It doesn't have its own act that governs its rules. And so on what basis and how well are they going to take care of the needs of Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company? I believe that we need to look beyond Ghana gas as a supporting arm for Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing. It should be an intentional government policy. It should be an intentional government budgetary allocation to support Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company so that they will be able to deliver on the numbers that we need in Ghana. Ghana has a lot of space to improve on our climate condition. Ghana has a lot of space to improve the use of LPG gas as against the use of fossil fuels, charcoal, amongst others. The only way to mitigate that effect is to ensure that Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company is adequately supported, and we can support them with budgetary allocation. The Ministry of Finance should find the necessary money to support them. The Ministry of Energy should also give them the needed support and cooperation, since the ministry has green transition also attached to it. And the green transition can be successfully done if we're able to support Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing. My call to Ghanaians, also the entire nation, is that we should all have a look at improving on the use of LPG. The rural communities, how do we ensure that we give them access to cylinders? Will government even subsidize the cylinders for them so that a lot more people will be attracted to use it in our homes? I think this is a bigger conversation that as a country we need to look up onto. And so, Mr. Speaker, without I want to thank the maker of the statement for bringing this important statement up. In fact, I will go to the extent of urging Mr. Speaker to refer this particular statement to the Committee of Energy and then Ministry of Finance to work collaboratively. And the Minister of Energy has just walked in. We are talking about Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing. Please support them. Let's improve the climate change. And let's make sure that Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing performs its work dutifully as enshrined in their work. Mr. Speaker, without more, I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, Minister responsible for energy.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you very much and to commend the maker of the statement, even though I don't know him. And I can just hazard, there's only Honorable Charles Asiedu who will make this brilliant statement. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I must be honest, I just walked in a head Ghana cylinder, and being my passion, I thought that I should seek permission from you to make some few remarks. Mr. Speaker, I just want to dwell on Ghana cylinder without taking too much time. My office has been working with the MPA, of which my elder brother headed before, and Ghana Gas to revamp Ghana cylinder. I can confirm that so far, the estimate shows that they need about $8 million to be able to revamp it. We've been able to mobilize about $6 million for them, and the retooling is going on. In fact, if you look at what they've produced this year, it's more than double what happened in 2024. And so we are on course to revamp Ghana cylinder. We are on course to retool it. Not only are we doing that, we are giving them off-taker agreements and setting an escrow account. So that as part of the cylinder recirculating model, as Minister, I've issued a directive that will recall all the old and obsolete cylinders so that Ghana cylinder would retrofit them and make them useful. And also we've signed an agreement with GOIL so that GOIL will be the off-taker for the cylinders as part of the Ghana cylinder recirculation model. And so, Mr. Speaker, let me assure this House that we are on course towards retooling Ghana cylinder and making it a modern factory fit for purpose. What we intend to do is that eventually we would ban the importation of cylinders and insist that all these cylinders and canisters ought to be procured here in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I'm very grateful for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Tampuli.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the opportunity to give some reflections on the statement ably made by my very good friend, Honorable Asiedu. Mr. Speaker, I feel very compelled to, share some perspective on this subject matter, having regard to the fact that I was once the CEO of the regulator of the downstream petroleum industry, and then we did quite a lot of things to bring back, the Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company. Mr. Speaker, at some point, we have to even support them financially, to be able to get them to take care of some of their recurrent expenditure. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the fulcrum around which the cylinder recirculation model of LPG distribution was built was around GCMC, so that they will be producing the cylinders. Mr. Speaker, at some point it became so obvious that they did not even have the capacity to produce the number of cylinders that we needed in the country, and we had to go on tours across the world to be able to get some partnership with GCMC so that they'll be able to get the cylinders. So we introduced even a margin in the price build-up of the LPG, so that we'll be able to use that one to procure cylinders on a large scale, so they'll build their capacity. In fact, Mr. Speaker, we even thought at some point that the current location of GCMC on the Spintex Road, has outlived the usefulness for which it was sent there. Back in the days, the entire Spintex Road was almost like an industrial enclave. Today, there are a lot of residences and then commercial facilities. So we are proposing at some point that we move the company to the industrial enclaves so that the company will be able to expand. But as it is right now, where they are, it is not expandable. So, Mr. Speaker, the main key drivers of getting this thing done is underpinned by 3 A's, as we call them: affordability, accessibility, and availability of LPG, so that we'll be able to do cylinder recirculation model across the country. Mr. Speaker, across the sub-region, it's only in Ghana that we currently have this model where we have bullets sitting in residential areas and people filling their LPG, and sometimes there's a blast. And you know, examples abound. So, Mr. Speaker, you go to Togo, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, all across the sub-region. Nobody does what we are doing. They all have cylinder recirculation model. You go pick up a pre-filled cylinder, you pay, and then you give them an empty one. Anytime that you have need for more LPG, you just go and then do a swap. And we think that that's a better arrangement, and it can only be done if we give Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company the commanding heights of that industry, so that they expand, create more jobs. In any case, I'm sure that it will be one good example of where we can do the 113, right? 133, Mr. Speaker, 133. They can work, shift, and they can work 24 hours. Mr. Speaker, they have that capacity to do this, and I think that the maker of the statement got it spot on. And this House has to support this initiative, and I'm happy the Minister himself is here. And Minister, over to you. We are looking at how you are going to make this happen, and then we'll support you from this House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, minority leadership.
Speaker, I think it's okay. We can proceed.
Very well. Majority? Yes, that's the end of that statement. The next statement is D, standing in the name of Honorable Vincent Eko Asafwa, Old Tafo. Very well. I would humbly ask that the statement be published in the Hansard for him. So the next statement is E, standing in the name of Mr. Sebastian Fred Day, Member of Parliament for Kwando. Second deputy.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to make this statement in support of supporting smallholder farmers in Ghana, the role of financial institutions with tailor-made, innovative financial intermediation. Mr. Speaker, I want to also use the opportunity to thank you so much for admitting this statement months back, and because of the lapse of time, I will abridge it, and with your leave, perhaps ask that the entire statement as submitted and admitted by your good self be published in the Hansard. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to draw attention of this House and the whole world to the critical importance of supporting smallholder farmers in Ghana, who form the backbone of our agricultural sector. Mr. Speaker, agriculture employs over half of our population and contributes significantly to Ghana's GDP. Despite their crucial role, smallholder farmers remain among the most economically vulnerable in our society. Mr. Speaker, today, I wish to emphasize the need for a strategic, well-coordinated approach to supporting smallholder farmers, with particular focus on one very innovative financial institution in Ghana called Opportunity International Savings and Loans Company. Mr. Speaker, It is well documented that smallholder farmers constitute about 70% of Ghana's farming population. Largely, these are farmers who manage less than 2 hectares of farm land. Mr. Speaker, they play a vital role in ensuring food security, reducing rural poverty, and supporting our overall economic development. However, smallholder farmers face numerous challenges, including limited access to finance, inadequate extension services, poor market linkages, climate change, and post-harvest losses. Mr. Speaker, addressing these challenges holistically is necessary if we are to achieve food sufficiency and sustainable rural development in our country. Mr. Speaker, access to finance is one of the biggest barriers to growth and prosperity of smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, according to the 2025 Global Findex report, rural populations in Ghana remain underserved by financial institutions. This financial exclusion reduces productivity and exacerbates poverty. Mr. Speaker, one institution that has taken deliberate steps to bridge this financial inclusion gap of smallholder farmers is Opportunity International Savings and Loans Company. Mr. Speaker, Opportunity International Savings and Loans Company has been operating in Ghana for over 20 years. They offer innovative financial products tailored to the needs of smallholder farmers and agribusinesses and micro-entrepreneurs. Mr. Speaker, Opportunity International's agricultural finance programs adopts the value chain financing approach, and they focus largely on seasonal loans to farmers. They offer financial literacy training. They facilitate linkage with buyers and input suppliers. They offer mobile banking services to rural farmers, allowing them to save and transact business without traveling long distances. Mr. Speaker, this combination of credit, training, and market linkages has helped thousands of smallholder farmers improve their productivity and incomes. Mr. Speaker, let me share the story of a farmer called Mensa, who is a maize farmer in Bono region. Through Opportunity International, Ama received a first loan of an agricultural loan in 2024, which she used to purchase improved seeds, fertilizers, and hire tractor for plowing. In addition to the loan, Ama benefited from training on good agricultural practices and financial management. Ama's case is similar to that of Equitable and Kujira in my constituency, Pando, in the Volta region, and Kofi Osei in Abotoase in the Oti region. There are several of such examples in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, Ama's maize yield increased by 70% after adopting modern farming practices, and with improved market access facilitated by Opportunity International, she was able to sell her produce at competitive prices, and today Ama is not only feeding her family but saving to expand her farm and her children's school fees paid in advance. Mr. Speaker, there are countless of such examples. Mr. Speaker, whilst institutions like Opportunity International, we as policy makers, and I refer specifically to the Parliament of Ghana, we as policy makers must aim at creating an enabling environment to scale up these efforts of rural farmers or smallholder farmers for that matter. We must put in policies that will ensure pragmatic policy interventions. Mr. Speaker, a dedicated fund for agriculture, which will be statutory in nature, is required. Mr. Speaker, the next policy I wish to put on paper is a PPP arrangement or PPP delivery of extension services to bundle services to smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, the next policy proposal is to expand digital financial services to smallholder farmers. In a nutshell, there are 7 different policy proposals which are well documented in the statement, and I wish that the Hansard will capture it in its entirety. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, smallholder farmers, supporting them is not just an agricultural policy matter, it is a national development imperative. By ensuring that our farmers have access to financial tools, training, and markets they need, we are investing in food security, poverty reduction, and economic development. Mr. Speaker, I believe that this is embedded in the vision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in all the agricultural policies that have been laid before this House, and we are therefore encouraged to adopt them. Mr. Speaker, it will empower farmers, strengthen our rural economies, and ensure more prosperous and food secure Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, honorable members. I think the rules has already been set. We are going to have 2 contributors from each side, and the time is 5 minutes. So we will begin from Honorable Sammi Awuku, member for Equitable. Member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also permits me to break protocol by extending my deepest condolences to you. Mr. Speaker, listening to the Honorable Member of Parliament and the maker of this statement, I would like to commend him for bringing the plight and the issues of our farmers, and especially those who practice farming not on that commercial scale, but on a smaller scale. The Speaker, amongst the things that he also listed as part of recommendation, which I also support him, is the establishment of an agricultural finance support fund. I believe this will also go a long way to help many farmers, and especially also help reduce their burden, and also serve as an incentive for many banks who also want to support and partner them in this regard. So, Speaker, in the area of the public-private partnership, I believe that is also one area that we can also look at in supporting many of our farmers who are in dire need of the financial support. So, Speaker, while at this, we can also not gloss over and pretend that the role of government as a major player in the agricultural sector can be washed away. So, Speaker, it is a tragedy for a small-scale farmer or a farmer cultivating on a smaller scale to sweat, put in all the effort, and at the end of the day, the government will turn its back on the farmer. So, Speaker, I'm bringing this issue as a matter of urgent concern that we have many of our farmers today who do not even find it worthy to even go into farming in the next planting season. You have that of your maize. After harvesting it, issues of even storage becomes a problem. The issue of cocoa is still fresh on our minds. Many of our farmers we are talking about are not even cultivating on a 100-acre scale, 200 acres, some 20, 10, 5 acre. And if they can also have this major crop and still government will not even buy from them or pay them, then it becomes a disincentive for some of these farmers to go into farming. Whilst you have cocoa issues to deal with, you also have that of rice. You have many of our small-scale farmers and many of our farmers in the rural communities who are keeping the nation going. 70% of what we do is coming from the farming, from the agricultural sector. What is the role of government in helping these farmers when they cultivate, when they go through all the hassle in putting food on our table?
So it's important that as we also try to establish an agricultural fund, government must also play its critical role and not turn its back on these farmers. You talk about yam, you talk about rice, you talk about maize, you talk about cocoa. So there's something serious happening at the agricultural sector. But, Right Honorable Speaker, I believe that we also have to take a critical look at. Yes, we can have PPP, the private-public partnership. Yes, you can have a fund being set up. But the critical role of the government in ensuring that you provide these incentives for these farmers, for them to also continue to hold us down as a nation. It cannot be rhetoric all the time. Mr. Speaker, it cannot also be lamentations all the time. Once we have a problem, we must fix it. I support the maker of this statement in this regard, and I believe that other members of Parliament will also contribute effectively to this statement. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, my brother. Yes, Professor Yan.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this very important subject under discussion, and to thank the maker of this statement for touching a very important and sensitive matter, which has to do with financing for smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, as the maker had it spot on, the chunk of the food we get from this country come from the smallholder farmer. The smallholder farmer plays critical role in providing food for the people of this country. Unfortunately, they go through a lot of difficulties. They have numerous challenges. And then financing is one of the critical challenges that the smallholder farmer faces. And so there's a need to find a way of addressing this critical matter, Mr. Speaker. Financing smallholder farmer has been a perennial problem. It's been long outstanding. There have been a lot of interventions to support smallholder farmer to be able to enhance farming. Unfortunately, a lot of these interventions have not been successful. And one of the critical challenges is the fact that the high interest rates that normally come with the loans makes it very difficult for the smallholder farmer to be unable to access the fund. The Speaker, I worked closely on a project, on a media project, which was supposed to commercialize smallholder farmers. But one of the difficulties that the project faced had to do with financing. They took the farmers through what we call the starter packs, which was very successful and very promising. But when it got to the time of providing financing loans for the farmers, it was a big problem, because we noticed that a lot of the farmers were running away because of the high interest rate. Mr. Speaker, there's a need to look at this particular issue and see how we are going to make financing accessible and affordable for the smallholder farmer. Mr. Speaker, it is important, in conclusion, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we are able to address the following challenges in order to ensure that the smallholder farmer is able to stay in business and continue to feed us as a country. One of the challenges in commercializing a smallholder farmer is the fact that they have fragmented lands, so which makes it difficult for them to commercialize. And so there's a need for the agriculture ministry to see how can we put them into cooperative, and so that they can have their land together and they can do commercial farming, Mr. Speaker. The other important thing is the food glut. As we stand now, the country is battling with food glut because we don't determine prices for our produce, which is very, very important. So we must find a way as a country and see how can we fix prices for food produce, because the farmers cannot predict how much they will sell their produce, and it's a very challenging thing. So they invest so much, and when they harvest, they are not able to get realistic prices for their produce, Mr. Speaker. The other important thing where we have to do is to consider the industrialization, rural industrialization, to ensure that we find industries that are suitable for a particular place and grow it so that the farm produce can be transformed into a more marketable produce for them. For example, if you go to an area where you come to northern region, we have a potential for producing.
Thank you, Professor Hamza. Your time is up. So, yes. Honorable.
Thank you very much,
okay,
Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this brilliant statement made by our colleague from Pandu, Sebastian Day. Mr. Speaker, this statement exposes a painful truth about our farmers, our smallholder farmers, and what they go through. Mr. Speaker, for decades as a country, we have played lip service to the support of our smallholder farmers, especially in financing. Mr. Speaker, our sisters like Kenya have been able to move on from not financing smallholder farmers to an era whereby smallholder farmers can access facilities within days, not weeks, but within days. They've been able to build a proper digital platform for the smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, if you may bear with me, the previous government started a digital project which would have been very solid for our smallholder farmers. But I know that when we come back, we'll be able to do that. Mr. Speaker, banks in this country should be able to develop products, tailor-made products that will help our smallholder farmers. I was intrigued to read from his statement that, with your kind permission, I may read. He said, Mr. Speaker, we cannot overlook the critical role of women and youth in agriculture. Women constitute the majority of smallholder farmers. Women constitute the majority of our smallholder farmers. Mr. Speaker, I'm being mindful to Order 93.5. If women constitute majority of our smallholder farmers, Mr. Speaker, I would advise that this statement should be taken with keen interest, in the sense that his own government told all of us that they are going to establish the Women's Development Bank within 6 months. If this bank had been established, our women would have access to facilities that will help our smallholder farmers. So I advise the maker of the statement to make sure that this statement reaches the doorsteps of the Flagstaff House. Mr. Speaker, our Deputy Finance Minister also came here and told us that there are banks that are offering facilities at a rate of 10% to 11% per annum. Meaning there are banks in this country that can help our smallholder farmers. So I also entreat the maker of the statement to also make the statement available to our Deputy Finance Minister so that our women will be able to see the light of day. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. My brother, are you up on your feet? Okay, let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to seize this opportunity to thank the maker of the statement and also bringing to fore some of these things that are plaguing our farmers, especially when he mentioned Opportunity International Savings and Loans. For the past 20 years, they've been committed to the farmers, and it is across wherever their branches can be found. Unfortunately, agriculture happens to be the only way that the majority of Ghanaians could be employed. Yet, successive governments in and out come, and then they fail to address this particular challenge. This has actually affected how our young farmers, how our women appreciate farming in our country. Most of our women are persistent farmers. Most of this micro scheme they do is to train whoever is coming for funding from them. So they help you, they impact the skill, you open an account, and then they also cultivate into you the habit of savings. So there is a direct link with this type of funding and then financial inclusion. And also financial inclusion has impact on economic development. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the maker of the statement, what has been put before us, it is clear that there are certain pertinent produce like pepper, like maize, like vegetables and other things that most of our women are into. These are things that we can easily support our women to go into without necessarily having to fall on importation or having to go to our neighboring countries to bring them. I don't want to recall these unfortunate incidents where our people from Ghana go to neighboring countries to bring tomatoes, and then the unfortunate happens. But this is the crux of the matter, that when we don't pay attention to funding and also supporting these young and women in agriculture, these are some of the emergencies that come our way. We want to state that as a country, if we indeed want to reduce the unemployment rate, this is the way to go. Because when you have somebody like a woman in farming, it is not just the woman, but whatever he gets out of farming comes to affect a whole family. And that is the way we support our mothers, have supported us till this time. Anyone who comes from any agric environment or any farming environment, you see that women play a critical role in having to raise their families up with the menial salaries or menial sales they get from their farm produce. So helping them access credit is not just like the bank is trying to make it off them, but it's a way of bringing potential people to have a sustainable lifestyle. It is time that our rural banks, our microcredit facilities also turn attention to some of our communities and begin to support them. Sometimes, most of them even charge unrealistic interest rates. So it ends up that when you support the farmer, at the end of the day, the farmer is unable to pay, and then it becomes quite a delinquent and non-performing loan. We want to state that in as much as we are looking at this, to support farmers. We should also look at practical ways of having to give credit to our women, having to finance our people so that they can pay back. When it comes to my constituency in Pro East, there are rural banks who are supporting pepper farmers. It is very good because they look at the climate condition and then they support you. So we should also factor the climate conditions that our farmers go through. Let us begin to support them with irrigational facilities so that even the whole year we can have this farming going on. We thank the maker of this statement. And Mr. Speaker, I believe this statement will not end up on our shelves as always, but we'll put it into action and then the ordinary Ghanaian is supported. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, honored members. 2 contributors have been exhausted. Leadership.
Speaker, thank you for this opportunity, and I want to take this opportunity to thank the maker of the statement, the MP for Pandu. Speaker, I guess we look at what's happening in respect of smallholder farms. One would divert the mind to, first of all, the problems they are confronted with. Speaker, largely it has to do with issues of land litigation. When they are dealing with about 5-acre land, somebody comes and says that I'm the owner of the land, and then they end up having all manner of litigations. Speaker, beyond the litigation is also the issue of access to financing. And when they get the financing, difficult as that may be, they are also expected to pay a lot of interest on those funds. And Speaker, the other aspect is also normally the issue of drought. There is a lot of environmental issues, and then when they are even farming, they end up having issues of drought. Speaker, 90 to 95% of farming activities are within this remit. And therefore, one would expect that farms in Ghana, which are about 90 to 95%, are smallholder farms. Speaker, they produce major food crops that we keep talking about. One is maize, one is cocoa, one is cassava, one is yam, rice, cocoa yam, and plantain. Speaker, in recent times, all these staple foods I've mentioned, especially rice, Speaker, yam, maize. Speaker, these farmers are having a problem to even transport them. One. Apart from transportation, Speaker, they are not getting people to buy them. The market is virtually non-existent. And so this is the right time for the maker of the statement to have brought this statement to the fore, for government to take a critical look as to how they will support these smallholder farms. Speaker, most cocoa farmers have virtually abandoned their farms. They are more excited in giving their farms for mining activities, and not just the normal mining activities, by galamsey. Speaker, when you have a farmer who expected the government of the day to have given him or her 6,000 Ghana cedis, when same was promised per bag, and then that farmer goes back home and now gets 2,500 Ghana cedis. Speaker, you can understand what is happening. A lot of them are suffering from BP and stroke. They are giving them interest that they are unable to pay. The roads are not accessible for them to be able to transport their commodities or their products into the markets that they can be purchased. There is no money, Speaker, no money for people to even sell their rice and sell their cocoa yam and sell their yams. And that was the reason why my respected leader even had to come and show to this house that this is yam, this is cocoa, this is maize, this is rice. We are not getting money to buy them. And Speaker, there's food drought.
Then the worst part is that you always have the president promising them that he is now going to sink boreholes for them. How do you sink boreholes for the 90 to 95% of farmers who are in Ghana? Sink boreholes in these modern times. Speaker, we need to pay critical attention to all these matters and let us have proper vision, solid vision for our smallholder farmers. Let us move from giving money to a ministry that you are saying that they should go and use 71 million cedis to pay social media people, when you can give this money to smallholder farmers. And stop getting on private jets to go and deal with issues when we can deal with smallholder farmers. Speaker, for me, I will pray that this statement that was made should be remitted to the presidency, the Jubilee House, for them to know what is happening to your smallholder farmers so that they can take critical look at it and solve the problems facing the Ghanaian people. I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Majority Leadership.
Speaker, let me commend the member for Mandu for such an important statement. Speaker, if you travel from Dabala all the way to Angloga in the Volta region, and from Angloga all the way to Keta, you have nearly every household with a farm dotted along the lake front or the lagoon front. Speaker, if you travel from between Apam all the way to Cape Coast, you have families that have farms dotted along the highway. Speaker, if you travel from Impraiso through Tafo, through Asaka to Tafo to Agyei in the Kwau area, you have families that have farms dotted along the highway. As for the entire Afram Plains region, that is the breadbasket of the nation. Speaker, when you are in the air and you are about to land at the Tamale airport, the entire Tamale metropolis is surrounded by farmlands. Speaker, there is practically farming going on everywhere. So the focus of the statement is for us as a people to fashion a deliberate policy to be able to support the smaller farm holders. But how do we do it, Mr. Speaker? We have introduced policies like youth in agriculture. But how do we mobilize the youth to participate in agriculture for production, for feeding, and for industry? Speaker, in addition to the proposals contained in the statement, I believe that as a people, we should be able to have block farming. It simply means that we should farm in lots. What does it mean? For instance, in Southern, we should be able to acquire 100-acre stretch of land and subdivide that into about 10 acres each into subplots and reduce those 10 acres into different crops, if that is the case, and assign, say, 2 tractors to this block farm in Southern, and allow the youth to acquire these 10-acre subplots and reduce them into whatever crops that they want to engage in. Speaker, by this, if all the 261 districts can have at least a minimum of 100 acres of farmland turned into a block farm, that will amount to having in excess of 2,610 acres of land reduced into block farming. What that also means, Mr. Speaker, is that data collection becomes easy. In fact, the farmers can access credit electronically, as is done in Rwanda, as is done in Tanzania, as is done in Kenya. You don't need to send any officer to the farm to go and collect data, because the financial institutions can simply, with the use of Google Map, zoom in and look at the size of the farm, which are all calculable if you use IT. We can determine which crop is under cultivation and the size of the farm. The maker also speak about climate-sensitive farming methods. We introduced greenhouse farming in this country. In fact, a couple of years ago, the Nana Akufo-Addo government introduced greenhouse farming, and I know that those equipment were distributed to a lot of farmers. Now we cannot find them. We have imported a lot of tractors into this country for purposes of distribution to farmers. We can't find the tractors. So we need to be very deliberate about this. And I think that the statement, Speaker, if I may have your buy-in, we should refer the statement to the Committee on Agric for them to consider and bring a report and see whether we cannot start by pilot, that we can engage the ministry to pilot block farming in a couple of districts, and let's see how it goes. Speaker, with these words, we want to thank the member for bringing this very
well. Did I see the chairman of Agri Committee here? No, he was here. I think I saw him. Yes. He traveled. Oh, okay. Okay. Then.
Speaker, there's a prayer by the Honorable Dr. Kabiru. He has to travel shortly, so I pray that we bring up his statement so that he can make it quickly.
Well.
Yes. We vary the order of the statement so that he can take it. I thank you.
Well. So, honorable members, let's turn to H. The statement by Dr. Tia Abdul Karim Mahama, member for Walwale. So, honorable member, you may take your statement now.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank leadership and your good self for this honor, and to thank my colleagues, more especially Adam Agbana and then Emmanuel Tobin, for yielding and ceding to me to make this statement. Mr. Speaker, I rise to make this statement on the decline of youth financing from the District Assembly Common Fund to the National Youth Authority and the Youth Employment Agency. Mr. Speaker, I will first of all thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to make this statement on the decline of youth financing from the District Assembly Common Fund to the National Youth Authority and the Youth Employment Agency. The development of youth is the foundation of every nation that aims to strengthen its overall progress. This is both recognized in the National Youth Policy 2022-2023, 32, and the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The National Volunteer Report, VNR, of 2025 specifically emphasized SDG targets 8.5, thus achieving full and productive employment and decent work for all, including young people and persons with disability, and SDG target 8.6, substantially reducing the proportion of youth not in employment, education, and or training. However, these targets are being undermined by inadequate and inconsistent financing for youth programs. Mr. Speaker, the youth continue to face significant barriers such as limited entrepreneurial support, funding, vocational and technical skills training, leaving them either unemployed or vulnerable employed. For example, according to the 2023 Annual Household Income Expenditure Survey, 7 in every 10 persons, that is about 1.3 million unemployed persons in the third quarter of 2023, was aged 15 to 35. Of those who were even said to be employed, Mr. Speaker, estimated to be around 3.1 million youth were said to be vulnerable employment. The survey also revealed that 1.2 million youth are excluded from the use of ICT devices, and another 2.3 million, which is about 19.7%, did not use the internet. Mr. Speaker, in response to the need for a more structured and sustainable framework, this House passed the National Employment Agency Act, Act 887, 2015, and the National Youth Authority Act, Act 3939, 2016. The goal of these acts were to empower these institutions to oversee the development, coordination, supervision, and facilitation of youth employment. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, both acts made explicit provision to ensure sustainable financing of these agencies. Specifically, Section 17.3 of the Act 939 and Section 23C of Act 887 mandates that 5% of the District Assembly Common Fund be allocated to the National Youth Authority and 10% to the YA annually, subject to the formula approved by Parliament under Article 252 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, this was to generate predictable and adequate funding to enable these institutions to perform their mandate effectively. Mr. Speaker, the current government has outlined a roadmap to operationalize its youth development and employment strategy as outlined in the NDC manifesto for 2024, primarily through the establishment of its first ever new Ministry for Youth Development and Empowerment. This is also to build on key intervention and previous government through youth entrepreneurship and skill development with the intervention of various governments with the National Apprenticeship Program and Ejumawura Initiative. These youth-based initiatives are driven by institutions such as the NYA, YEA, and the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program, NEP. According to the NYA, an amount of 400 million has been received through the District Assembly Common Fund since 2017. Of this amount, 79% has been spent on youth-related infrastructure development across the country, including youth resource centers, youth leadership skills training institutes, assorted facilities, regional and district directories, and national office complex. About 17% has been spent on programs and operation, while the remaining 4% was spent on goods and services and general administration over the past 9 years. Demonstrable, Mr. Speaker, the NYA has effectively utilized the resources to empower the youth and create an enabling environment for effective and meaningful youth engagement in the country. Regrettably, Mr. Speaker, the trend in recent years paints a disturbing picture. It is interesting to note that between 2017 and 2019, compliance with the statutory funding requirement was largely achieved. However, from 2020 onwards, there has been consistent decline. Available data indicates that between 2020 and 2024, the average annual release from the District Assembly Common Fund to the NYA stood at only 2.8%, Mr. Speaker, while the YEA received about 5.8%, which is far below their statutory allocation of 5% and 10% respectively. Even more concerning, Mr. Speaker, is that in the first quarter of 2025, both agencies have received just 0.6% of their expected allocation. Mr. Speaker, reports from the Youth Employment for Life, YEF Ghana, a youth-based or youth-focused civil organization based in the northern region, through his Follow the Money campaign between 2017 and 2025, support this worrying revelation of inconsistency in District Assembly Common Fund disbursement to the NYA and the YEA. This downward trajectory, Mr. Speaker, is not merely a statistical issue. It has real implications for the lives of the millions of young Ghanaians who depend on this institution for training, employment, and the empowerment opportunities. The decline undermines the very essence of our collective vision for inclusive and sustainable development. It also weakens the institutional capacity of the NYA and the YEA to deliver on their respective mandates. Mr. Speaker, the youth of Ghana remain our most valuable national asset. If properly supported, we can become the engine of innovation, productivity, and leadership that will propel Ghana towards middle income prosperity and beyond. However, to unlock this potential, government must prioritize and protect youth financing, especially through consistent and timely disbursement of national District Assembly Common Fund allocation as prescribed by law. Mr. Speaker, this government came to office with a vision of resetting the nation and restoring economic stability. In that spirit, I appeal earnestly to the Minister of Finance and the District Assembly Common Fund Secretariat to take immediate steps to ensure statutory funds due to the NYA and the YEA are released fully and promptly. Delays and shortfalls in the releases only serve to erode public confidence in our youth policies and derail the progress we collectively seek. Mr. Speaker, given this worrying decline and non-compliance of this statutory allocation in the past years, I will urge the responsible institution, that is the District Assembly Common Fund, the YEA, the NYA, the Ministry of Youth and Development and Empowerment, engage with Parliamentary Select Committee on Youth and Sports to take a second look at the decline in compliance issue and to immediately take steps to fund redress rate. Such engagement should aim to build the cause of non-compliance and propose remedial measures, including ensuring strict adherence in the 2026 national budget. Unfortunately, this has elapsed, but going into the future in 2027, Mr. Speaker. In conclusion, I firmly believe that any investment that improves the well-being and productivity of our youth is an investment into the future. It is therefore imperative that we restore full compliance with the provision of Act 887 and Act 939 to safeguard the sustainability of our youth development architecture. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. The same rules apply to from each side. Nobody is speaking more than 5 minutes. Honorable Dr. Sasu, member for Medina.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the maker of the statement for such a well-researched statement.
The 2-2 includes leadership. Two from each side include leadership.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we have resolved among ourselves that we'll do 1-1 so that leadership will conclude.
So that's what I'm saying, includes leadership.
Okay.
So it makes 2.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, Dr. Sasu, let's hear you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the maker of the statement for such a well-researched statement, particularly the one bordering on the young people of our country. Mr. Speaker, the statement is so critical because we know of the issues of youth unemployment and we know the core mandate of the YEA and the National Youth Authority. Mr. Speaker, indeed, if we can change our narrative as a people, we must begin to prepare young people to become entrepreneurial. And it is the YEA and the National Youth Authority that has the mandate or the core mandate to prepare our young people to become entrepreneurial. Mr. Speaker, one of the reasons why there is so much brouhaha in town today is the fact that you have a number of young people who are looking for government jobs which are not available. Mr. Speaker, the reality is that Adam Smith's theory of scarcity still prevails. The resources available to us as a nation cannot satisfy all the needs we have as a people. There is no way the spaces available can support the total number of young people looking for jobs. And the only way as a people we can begin to make progress is when we prepare these young people to invest in themselves, technical, vocational, and some form of entrepreneurship. Mr. Speaker, and that is the core mandate of the YEA. And that is why I support the maker of the statement that we must, as part of the reset agenda, reset the funding to these agencies. And I can assure the maker of the statement that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is a man of integrity and definitely will take this call in good faith. And we can see some serious funding to the YEA so that it can carry out its core mandate to secure the future of our young people in Ghana. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to support the statement.
Very well. Yes. Honorable
Agyei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to also commend my good brother and colleague from Wale Wale, Honorable Dr. Kabiru. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important statement. And for me, the figures and the details he has put across is mind-boggling. Mr. Speaker, the number of unemployed youth we have, 1 or 7 out of every 10 persons you meet are unemployed, and the efforts that successive governments have tried to make, particularly in financing or finding a lasting solution to this youth unemployment program. Mr. Speaker, my point or major focus of the contribution will be about efforts or activities of successive governments that largely has an intention of creating jobs but end up not creating the jobs we are looking out for. Mr. Speaker, not quite long ago, the current president, who was president in 2012 to 2016, Mr. Speaker, came out with a lot of initiatives with the intention of creating jobs for the youth. Mr. Speaker, he came out with youth in beads making. Mr. Speaker, youth in bicycle riding, youth in film making. Mr. Speaker, youth in potholes patching. Mr. Speaker, these are programs, initiatives that we commit a lot of money into, and at the end of the day, ended up in sham. Mr. Speaker, Muslims in piggery and all that. Mr. Speaker, this was the result of how come Ghanaians were ended up in lawsuits about corruption. Mr. Speaker, so my point is clear. Today, my good brother is talking about IMF. Mr. Speaker, the State of Nation address. Mr. Speaker, the State of Nation address that the President John Dramani Mahama was here, made mention about 89,000 youth has been engaged in various models. Mr. Speaker, as at the time he was making that State of the Nation address, the CEO of the IMF has not even been in office. In 2016, when the president again came here to make a statement before us, he again mentioned that he has instructed that the IMF program be reviewed to avoid duplications. Mr. Speaker, my point is clear that we cannot overly, as government, as a country, be implementing programs, activities, initiatives that will end up coming back to the same cycle without creating lasting and permanent jobs for our youth. Mr. Speaker, it is as if our youth are beginning to be the point at which we tell them anything and then they fall for us to win elections. Mr. Speaker, not long ago, the president of this country went to Winneba, and then behind him was a big wall clock. The Speaker telling everybody that he's going to create a 1-3-3 job, that Amma will go to work in the morning and close in the afternoon. Kofi will go in the afternoon, 8-hour shift and close. Then Kwame takes over and come the next day, 3-3-3, to curb the issue of unemployment in this country. Mr. Speaker, now we are here. 2025 is gone. 2026, the best they have done about the 1-3-3 initiative is to create an authority which in itself closes at 4 o'clock. Mr. Speaker, this is how we have over the years used our youth as a chaskele board. We play with them, we talk with their emotions. Mr. Speaker, we ride on them, we gain the popularity, win elections, and do not do anything about them. Mr. Speaker, the financing of the youth must be something that we should be very, very interested in. And Mr. Speaker, it is not about rhetorics. It should be about commitment to ensuring that the teeming member of our society who are young and unemployed must be given some work and job to do. Mr. Speaker, we now have John Mahama again as the president. I am only cautioning that the youth in potholes patching, the youth in beads making, the youth in bicycle riding, the youth in the Muslims in piggery should not be repeated again. We are seeing some clear. Yes, we are seeing some clear signs with the the Jumeirah.
The Speaker, we are only hearing that 2,000 of them have been trained. Even them, they have not been able to equip them or tool them to go and work. The Speaker, the conclusion.
Mr. Speaker.
Come and hold on. Let him come to leadership. Let your leader address it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, the Honorable Minority Leader.
So, the minority leadership, I presume, has yielded to.
But nobody spoke from your end.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, let me commend the maker of the statement for bringing such an important matter to the House's attention. Mr. Speaker, I think what is happening in the country is pretending to be creating jobs for the young people, when in actual sense, it's like an Instagram kind of situation where you are made to believe something is being done, but not being done. The Speaker, again, if you look at the allocation from the DACF and to that of the NYA and that of the YEA, is worrying. Already the 10%, 5%, they are struggling to even release them. Now you have these institutions also struggling to even cope with the burden that they come face to face with all the time. So, Speaker, even the structural arrangement of even the YEA is problematic. A situation where you have young people being recruited and employed for 2 years. After 2 years, they are made to exit the program and we recruit another young group of people to be employed for 2 years. So clearly, it's a recycle of unemployment situation that we have in our country. Much more scary, Mr. Speaker, is the recent Ghana Statistical Service report, where in Greater Accra alone, 1 out of 2 young people that you meet remain unemployed. Mr. Speaker, that is very scary. And if in the midst of all this, you have government not having a coordinated strategy to employ young people, it gives us cause to worry. Again, let me buttress the point of my colleague that this settings arrangement of 133 or 3 people working around a 24-hour clock, it is clear that it's not going to work. For a year now, what they have established is a secretariat. The secretariat themselves, they are telling you they aim to recruit people. Mr. Speaker, so again, when you are at a point in time, I don't know why my senior vandal colleague was upset when my colleague mentioned the Muslims in Pigri. Here in this chamber, the President of the Republic said, oh, he was showcasing people that they had employed, and said Amina had been giving some support to go into Pigri. Amina was a practicing and is still a practicing Muslim. So when they say Muslims in Pigri, you created it. You created it. Mr. Speaker, subsequent to that, you also have a situation where Mr. President comes to us in this chamber and tells us that as part of the big push, and in the same budget statement of the President of the Republic, they are telling us they are going to create about 800,000 jobs through the big push. Greater percentage of these 800,000 jobs is by day work, in inverted commas. People going to carry water, fetch water, carry concrete, and all. After 6 months, 7 months, then they are back to square one. That is not the kind of jobs that President Mahama and the NDC promised us when they were campaigning in 2024. We believe that the lip service period is over. The honeymoon now, it is clear, it's over. Eyes clear. Let's get to the realities on the ground. We're still looking forward to. Recently, Mr. Speaker, my very good friend and brother, Felix Kwacho Fosu, said last year they were going to even establish 600 chips compound. That could have employed many young people. A year down the line, you ask him and he tells you it's not his policy, it's that of government policy. So, Mr. Speaker, the situation we have, it's a very serious matter, and we expect our colleagues on the other side to attach seriousness to the issues of unemployment.
Now the issue of security recruitment. Over 500,000 young people were convinced, let me put it that way, were convinced that they were going to get jobs. Pay 200 cedis, 500,000 people, then you knew that you were going to only recruit 5,000 people. 100 million cedis, you know, nicely accrued, I won't say pocketed, but to the disadvantage of the young people. We want to see much more seriousness from our colleagues, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, majority leadership.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to comment on the statement made by my good friend Honorable Kabiru. Mr. Speaker, the maker of the statement is a Muslim, and he sat down quietly for hours of Agyei to tell all of us that there was a program called Muslim in Piggy. And we are laughing. And Mr. Speaker, our brothers and sisters are in a fasting season. Ramadan. And we are here making mockery of them. We never had any program called Muslim in Piggy. So, Mr. Speaker, that statement should respond from the records. Unless he can prove to us that we implemented a program called Muslim in Piggy. So if somebody mentioned Amina, does it mean that every Amina is a Muslim? How can you conclude that? I was in this house when that statement was made. So if you mention Amina or Siaka, it doesn't mean that person is a Muslim. Mr. Speaker, the statement is revealing certain things to us.
Ahmed is a pastor.
And I thank Honorable Kabiru for telling us this story, because he used to work at the office of the former vice president. And he's telling us that between 2020 and 2024, instead of DACF ceding 5% to NYA, they only gave them 2.8%. And I watch. Instead of giving YEA 10%, they gave them 5.8%. Meanwhile, between 2017 and 2019, they received 400 million Ghana cedis. What did they use that money for? And he is reporting to us that they use 17% for programs and operations, 4% for goods and services and administration expenditures, and 79% spent on youth-related infrastructure development. You refused to report this to us then. And today you are telling us that there was a wastage. The money meant for youth development was used for other purposes. So, we thank you for telling us what you did with the 400 million. That's why we put in place a Jumara program, Mr. Speaker. And Kokwankete program, youth apprenticeship program. And the statement is telling us that about 1.2 million youth are excluded from the use of ICT. So the 1 million coders program is going to face that challenge. He's also telling us that 2.3 million people did not even use internet at all. We need to develop the youth because they are the future of this nation. So it's good he's brought out all this information. Though he failed to address it during their regime, but governance is continuing. This government is taking steps to make sure that we put the youth at a proper place so that they can get meaningful work to do. We are just 14 months in office. So what you could not face, this administration is going to face, so that the youth will have hope. Because when we are not there, they are going to take over from us. So we thank you very much for bringing out this issue, because between 15 and 35 years, these are the people who are having this challenge. We need to deal with it. And the government is not complaining. The government is taking steps to face what you could not face. So, Mr. Speaker, we thank you for bringing up the problem they created, but the youth are the youth of this nation. We'll make sure the right thing is done so that the youth will get a better future to help us develop this nation. I thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we turn to F.
Speaker,
with your leave, I would want to humbly apply for a variation of the proceedings to enable us go to page 37 of today's order paper and deal with item 57. Mr. Speaker, item 57 is a private member's motion anchored on Article 103 of the 1992 Constitution and Orders 204, 212, 213, 262, and 263. No, I'm not moving. No, I'm not moving. I'm asking for leave, and I need to explain, Mr. Speaker, of the standing orders of Parliament to establish an ad hoc committee to investigate the Gold for Reserve scheme, including its design, implementation, governance, financial performance, environmental and public health implication, and any related matters. Mr. Speaker, this motion has the following applicants: Kojo Oponkroma, Trinebua Kodua Foucault, Jerry Ahmed Shaib, Vincent Eko Asifua, and Fred Che Asamoah. Mr. Speaker, the motion was admitted by the Right Honorable Speaker as far back as 29th of December 2025, Mr. Speaker, and in the first business committee meeting, same was considered to be moved the very first week upon resumption. Mr. Speaker, upon my count, this is the 6th week since we resumed. We've had assurances upon assurances to take this motion. Mr. Speaker, last 2 weeks, we were promised that we're going to take it. It didn't happen. Again, this week, we pressed and were assured by our friends opposite that the motion will be taken today. Mr. Speaker, our colleagues who are the applicants of this motion are ready. Mr. Speaker, this is parliamentary business. I think that the more motions delay on the order paper, the likelihood a certain impression being created on the minds of the public, as if in Parliament we cannot agree to proceed on something and dispense with same. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that you will rule. No, I'm not moving, please. Eche, don't do this. Your leader is here. You relax. Relax. Yeah, sure. Yeah, but your leader is here. This is leader to leader. So you are not acting leader again. Just wait. Let me finish. You've not been called. No. So, Mr. Speaker, the issue here is, let us move our motion, debate it, and then the ruling is made. Mr. Speaker, when the ruling is made,
not moving now. He's probably.
Mr. Speaker, I must give you good reasons for you to know why this application is not being made in bad faith. Mr. Speaker, I shouldn't make a lame application. The grounds of my plaint must be well anchored, and that is exactly what I'm doing. Mr. Speaker, I am saying that we should be allowed to proceed, debate, and then you make a ruling on it. Once you make a ruling on it, we know that we are done with it. But Mr. Speaker, if week after week the motion is in there, and Mr. Speaker, there is even a second motion that has to do with the mass dismissal. When I check the date, it's even past a year. That motion was dated 5th of March 2025. Every week it appears in the order paper, and that is also here. It's been a year. The motion was moved, seconded, debate started, and it's been a year. We can't continue. Anytime we raise it, we are told that, okay, you wait next week, and it's past a year. Meanwhile, people have been dismissed. They expect Parliament to speak.
So, Mr. Speaker, we pray that the majority should keep to their word. We all agree that today we'll take this motion, grant this leave for the applicant to move their motion, let them come with their counter issues, let's debate it, and Mr. Speaker should rule whether or not there should be a referral to a committee to escalate the matter. Mr. Speaker, I so submit, most humbly.
Well, Majority Leader, let me hear you.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think the Minority Leader has severally raised the issue of motions that he has proposed and which have been admitted by the Speaker. But generally, the indication we get from Speaker is that he would like to preside over those motions.
Leader, come again. I didn't get that.
I'm saying that he has raised the issue. So he has raised the issue of his motions, and the Speaker has given indication that he wants to be in the chair when those motions are being taken. You actually came 2 days, raised the issue, and even proposed that the two of us should go to the Speaker's office and try and convince him to come and preside so that we'll take the motions. Just that we're not able to go and then see the Speaker. So it is not the case that anybody is afraid of the motion being taken. It's just the availability of Speaker himself to preside over those motions or to give an indication that his deputies should go ahead and take the motions. The motions that he's talking about are motions that I don't see how those motions are of any real value, because the issue in one of them is about the mass dismissal, which he mentioned. This was extensively debated in this House, and the Speaker ruled on it based on our own standing orders, which say that when a matter is in court, you cannot. Now you are saying that you are appealing against the decision of the Speaker on that matter. I don't see any new arguments that you are going to prefer. It's going to be the same thing. The case is still in court. The matter has not been withdrawn. The second issue that you want to raise, you say is about, gold board losses. We are ready for you because we have, reports that also show that gold board is doing so well, and every Ghanaian can feel how well gold board is doing. So it's not something we are afraid of. We are ready to discuss it. We are ready to debate it. So there's no issue of anybody being afraid to discuss anything, because there's nothing that you are going to say that you haven't said on radio and Ghanaians have heard. There's nothing that you're going to say in this chamber that you haven't said at a press conference. There's nothing earth-shattering about any new thing that you are going to say. But with all that, we have continued to exist with a stable cedi, a weakened dollar, and an inflation that continues to go down. So there's nothing new that you're going to say. There's nothing we're afraid of. But as I keep emphasizing, you and I have gotten indication from Speaker how he wants the matter treated. So all I can say is that let the speakers confer with the Speaker and let them decide when they want the motions taken. You are not the only one who has motions advertised. There are so many motions that have been advertised. Some are even in my name. But I'm not pushing because I see that the signals from the Speaker is that he doesn't want those ones taken now. So I plead with him that it is not the majority side, because the motions, I can assure you, like Idi Amin said, he will fight the British Empire with one hand tied behind him. So you can move your motion. I'll just unleash only, Honorable Felix Kwachi on you, and the matter would have been resolved in terms of the quality of the debate. So we're not afraid. We're not afraid. By the time I add
Honorable Suhili, the case will be clearly determined. And then if I add Chris, the matter will be finished, for gender balance. So we are not afraid. We are not afraid. And so I plead with you that let's work on Speaker and let's get Speaker to give indications to his deputies and direct them how to treat the motions that you have filed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much.
Speaker, I have listened carefully and attentively to the majority leader who responded to my application for leave to take motion number 57. Mr. Speaker, in his response to me, he talked about this inflation and dollar, CD, whatever. Mr. Speaker, what he failed to discuss was a huge unemployment situation. Mr. Speaker, the worsening Galamsey situation. The 506,000 who have applied for 5,000 jobs, that they are still losing money. Mr. Speaker, these are matters that he himself admits. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of indication from the Speaker, he is right. It is fair. Indeed, he and I agreed that we should go and see Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, that is in respect of motions 53 and 54. Those were motions that he had indicated. And I did the count, and it's been over a year. Mr. Speaker, currently, the motion that I'm talking about is motion 57. That is not part of the two that Mr. Speaker said he himself wants to take them. As for these two, when we were at conclave, the understanding with Speaker was that this one, we can have it today, Thursday. And Mr. Speaker, that was a week ago. So I agree with him that we had an understanding to see Speaker on 53 and 54. That is true. I will not, deny that fact. But I'm not pushing for those two to be moved. At least I want to exhaust that arrangement, gentleman agreement with him that we should see Speaker. I was expressing a view that since he will rule, at least he will rule based on record. So if he is not available, he should at least allow any of you to preside for us to conclude the debate. Then he can refer to the records and then do his ruling. That one, when we meet him, I will put forth that argument. But for the time being, I won't press what we have agreed to do. What I am talking about is the motion 57, which has to do with the Gold Board and Bank of Ghana situation. Mr. Speaker, the IMF report to us, to the country, is that there was 7 billion losses as at 31st December 2025. Mr. Speaker, and we need to debate this matter. Debate on radio is not debate in public records. Let us deal with this. Let there be a ruling. Then we know that, Mr. Speaker, the matter has been dealt with. So as for the motion I am making an application for, it is not one of the motions that Speaker has indicated that he himself wants to preside. In all fairness, and Majority Leader, I have been fair with the facts. I don't want us to say this and that. Look, I have Agyei, he's there. I will not even unleash second timers. I am going to unleash the first timers to deal with your team. The first timers, I won't let second timers. John Daku is there. Mr. Speaker, you know we have the strikers. They are there. Lawyer Mia is there. Mr. Speaker, the first timers will deal with your team. So I don't have a problem. You can call your ministers to come. I know that you want to prepare and bring all your ministers to populate this chamber. We fear nothing. Mr. Speaker, we don't fear your numbers. We are mighty in our few numbers. So, Mr. Speaker, the majority leader should not entertain any worries at all. We have a full, well-prepared backbench to deal with his seniors. They are so solid, they are determined. We prepare them. And we know we'll make a compelling argument for Mr. Speaker to make a referral. Mr. Speaker, I end my case.
Yes, Leader.
Well, Mr. Speaker, as indicated, this is not a matter that we should take today. As for the IMF, I don't know if there are any rules in this House that say that whatever the IMF says is sacrosanct. I'm saying that I don't know if there's any rule in this House that says that it is enough to just stand here and say IMF says that this.
That's all.
Because we know that the practice has always been that the central bank is audited and there's an annual audit report that comes to Parliament. It is only when that audit report gets to this House and there's any confirmation of what is being alleged that we can also begin to look into it. Mr. Speaker, we know that
My past life.
under our constitution, the bank has a reporting obligation to Parliament. We know that. We could invite them and ask them questions. Indeed, we can ask the governor questions and he will be compelled to come to this chamber to come and answer those questions. Why do you choose a motion so that you can come and say anything that can undermine the central bank of the country? Why do you choose the option of a motion and to say that we should form an ad hoc committee to look into what? To look into what? To look into what? What ad hoc committee? So, Mr. Speaker, clearly this is not a matter that this House should spend its time on. But you brought the motion. Speaker has admitted the motion. It's been advertised. Wait until Speaker gives an indication that he wants the motion taken. And our rules are very clear. Mr. Speaker, no, I've had 191 waiting to be cited. The House shall allow 2 hours each Friday and any other day for the consideration of private members' bills and private members' motions. Despite Rule 1, the Speaker may extend the period beyond the 2 hours, having regard to the state of business in the House. We haven't really been doing this. And it is important for us to encourage a culture of private motions and then, having our 2 hours dedicated to the private motions. So, Mr. Speaker, I think let's deal with other, businesses that we were already on. We agreed that we'll try and exhaust the statement because many statements have been advertised. So if we try and exhaust the statements in the ensuing week, we can look at all the other issues. And indeed, if we confer at conclave and we agree on the date that we want to take this motion, it's so important that when you are debating a motion like this, it's important to have the central bank governor and his team sitting in the chamber so that they can hear the debate and etc. So if we fix the date, we can organize and make sure that the finance ministry, the gold board team, the central bank, all stakeholders are with us here so that we can debate the issues and then really, determine what the facts are and not the allegations that are here being bandied around. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we should continue with the business of the day.
Minority Leader, I think your application will be put on hold for today. A precedent discussion, and actually we didn't discuss this.
So what my position is that let's hold on with this. Let's discuss it. If tomorrow we want to take it, we have to discuss it. Both sides should be. Normally, when you are seeking the leave, you are seeking the leave of the House, not necessarily the Speaker who is presiding. You are seeking the leave of the House, and the House should be in agreement that this is what. Honourable members, I'm speaking. So allow me to speak. You've spoken a lot. Let me also speak. What I'm saying is, normally when someone gets up to seek the leave should be sought from the House. The Speaker will just look at the situation of the House and probably take a decision. So for now, my decision is that let's hold on with this application if tomorrow at the press sitting we all agree that we take it, then we can take it tomorrow. But for now, let's hold on with this application.
Speaker, I don't have a problem. I submit wholly and fully to the ruling, and I yield to the orders of the chair. However, Mr. Speaker, since we are a house of public records, I just want to put across this point that I rose and mounted my application in good faith. The issue of non-discussion of the matter today, in my humble view, is very inconsequential, in the sense that it had been agreed and full assurances had been given. Mr. Speaker, I've been in that chair where the majority leader is. And sometimes when he's engineering his moves, I understand. He wants to say a story to you to put you to sleep. Then when you wake up, you say, oh, my son, but it's okay. Mr. Speaker, it's okay. When my colleague leader gives me assurance that next week Thursday, then the next week Thursday comes, your leader, the president is coming. You grant me another week. I say, okay. And then I'm referring to my colleague leader. You are a ship. You were not there. He's here.
You are a ship.
Mr. Speaker, then again, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, then again he assured me, in the presence of my colleagues that this week you will dedicate Thursday and Friday. Then the condition was that for the other two motions, we go and see Speaker. We've not been able to see him. So, Mr. Speaker, I just want the record to reflect that it isn't the case that we didn't raise it at pre-sitting today, and I'm suddenly bringing this matter up. No. I was of the understanding that today we would have it. It's the reason I brought in the applicant. But, Mr. Speaker, I will yield to you. I wouldn't want to pursue this further if the leader in good faith says we should prepare for it tomorrow. We'll prepare tomorrow.
Honourable Afenyo-Markin, please. What I said
Mr. Speaker, you were not at pre-sitting, and none of them came for pre-sitting.
I was at the pre-sitting.
No, Mr. Speaker, I
was at the pre-sitting.
Mr. Speaker, you and your first deputy were there, but none of them came for pre-sitting meeting.
Yes.
None of them came for pre-sitting meeting.
Yes.
And the understanding, as we had already, was that we're going to have it today. Mr. Speaker, I will yield to your ruling and comply with same. But I have an understanding from the majority leader that we will take this thing tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, therefore, Mr. Speaker, does that mean that the minority's motion must be at the whims and caprices of the majority? Yes. Is that the super majority approach, that when we have a motion, until they so direct, we cannot have it?
No,
Mr. Speaker, is that what the majority leader is telling the minority?
I don't think that is the issue. What I said, leader, what I said was, when we are coming to discuss matters like this, it's better that in the morning, before we proceed into the chamber, we agree that today we will take this. So that is my position, so that both sides will be in agreement that this is the way we are going to go. So for this, let's hold on. Let's hold on with this particular one.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, everybody heard me. I said the deputy speakers should get an indication from the speaker. Is that not what I said? That the deputy speaker should get an indication from the speaker so that we can do this. Because as for me, I'm ready to debate you at any time. I'm ready to debate you at any time. But let's have the speaker give an indication. So I think that it is not fair for us to go on that tangent and say, I have committed to tomorrow. And that's why I said, if we agree on a date, then we can get all the stakeholders to be present. That's what I said. But you see, this is my younger brother, will always try to find words to put in my mouth. Even when he comes and in the heat of some other engagement, he will make a request and I say, oh, let's look at Thursday or Friday. It doesn't mean that it will happen on Thursday or Friday. I said, let's look at Thursday or Friday. I said, let's look at Thursday or Friday. There's no agreement that it is Thursday or Friday. Let's look at Thursday or Friday. But Thursday, when you raise it and then the environment is not conducive, it's not conducive. Because the president was coming to this house. So if I said Thursday or Friday, and Thursday the president was here, Friday you didn't remind me, and then you now come another week and want us to take it. The week and the Thursday or Friday that I gave you has passed. The Thursday or Friday that I gave you has passed. So even if you are holding me to my commitment was last week Thursday or Friday. That was it. So, Mr. Speaker, I think as you have directed, we'll continue with business today, and then when we meet and we agree on a date in our pre-sitting, then we will give the necessary notices to all the interested parties to be here for the debate.
Speaker, I agree. I won't contest this matter. But what the majority leader has just done, to my colleagues here, it only tells us one thing: hard work. Let's come back to power. Mr. Speaker, this is how power is being used. Yes, it is to inspire you. This intimidation, this tossing. It's only one thing. We take power and sit on the right of speaker. Mr. Speaker, I mean, today majority leaders say, oh, I gave indication. When you give your word to me, I'm 48. When you tell me something, I know and I believe in it. Now you say you didn't give indication.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, it only means one thing: hard work from this side, so that we flip about 55 seats.
Thank you.
We flip 55 seats.
Thank you. So
and then come and take the power, and then you see.
So let me invite Honorable Eric Edem Abana to take the statement. Ketunov. But please hold on for 2 minutes. Let's suspend the House for 2 minutes.